Have you ever wondered what it feels like to earn a six-figure salary? Well, I can tell you, but I'm also going to tell you exactly why I left that behind and what I'm doing now. Hello there, my name is Andy. I'm from the UK. I'm 55 years old and I have worked full-time for 34 years. I've had a great career, very successful, very enjoyable for the most part, but not anymore. Now, for a very long time, earning six figures was my absolute goal. I really believed that was the point where everything would probably feel different. Much more freedom, less stress, certainly less financial stress. I imagine luxurious holidays, no money worries, just a general sense that you'd made it. And eventually I got there. But the reality was very, very different. Because what no one really tells you is you tend to live to your means. So, in many ways, believe it or not, earning £100,000 didn't really feel that different to earning £25,000. The numbers change, the lifestyle adjusts, but the feeling, not as much as you'd expect. And then, of course, there's the 40% tax. That's what it's like living in the UK, which definitely brings you back down to earth. So yeah, I was earning well, but I wasn't walking around feeling free or financially transformed. I was just in a bigger version of the same structure. So how did I get there? Well, I started out in the arts. I did a music degree at 18 and I had a first career about 15 years, which I loved, but the arts pays terribly. So I then moved into higher education where my career really took off. And actually, I had a second career then of another 15 years. And I ended up as an academic registrar in various universities. Big teams, multi-million pound budgets, 6 or 7 meetings a day. Oh, it was a really big, serious role. And for a long time, I genuinely loved it. You know, I really felt I had a voice. I felt I was making an impact. I certainly felt I was, improving the experience of students, which is really what you want to do if you're working in universities. But somewhere in my early 50s, something changed. The things that used to fuel me just didn't anymore. The meetings felt longer and heavier, and the work felt, just less meaningful. And I remember thinking, why do I care so much about this stuff? And then eventually I didn't care about it anymore. It didn't feel important, and I was questioning what I was doing. And I was kind of aware that, of course, this was coinciding with reaching midlife, with the menopause, with the children leaving the nest. And these are big major things that happen in your life, but it didn't feel like a crisis. I didn't feel like I was going through a midlife crisis. I had this I can't even explain it, this kind of fire that was lit inside me. And the fire was telling me there's more. There's something more to my life. And maybe the life that I was leading wasn't the end goal. And the other thing that I was becoming really aware of was this idea that I was selling my time to my employer. Every second of every minute of every hour of every day of every week, I was in my employment. The contract was I was selling my time. And it's quite surprising, the older you get, the more you realise just how precious your time is. Now, I just want to be very clear. I couldn't just stop working. My husband is a self-employed musician. He isn't earning millions or anything like that. We've got still a bit of mortgage to pay. We've got grown-up kids that need supporting. We've got 3 cars. We've got insurances. We've got pensions and all of that to okay. So this isn't me kind of going, oh, I was just fed up of work, so I gave up and did something else. No, 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 no. I have still got to earn considerable income every month. So this was quite scary. And I guess for a while, I didn't do anything because I knew the consequences if I gave up my salary. The consequences would be that financially we could really, really struggle. And it was terrifying for a while. But also, it was suffocating. This knowing that I needed and wanted to do something different, but just feeling completely trapped by my 6-figure salary. And honestly, it got so intense, this feeling that I knew I couldn't carry on like that. It was too much. It was this overwhelming feeling that was taking over everything. And I was really starting to dread Monday mornings, any mornings. And I was living for the weekends. But even then, everything was on my mind about this job, this career that I'd worked so hard for. But it just wasn't giving me what I needed, wanted. I don't know. Gosh, it was scary. And of course, there's other things that then impact on you. And what I also noticed was as I reached my 50s, people that I love, care, people in my circle, as we get older, we start to either see illness appear and or people start passing away. And that's the reality of getting older. Of course, your friends, your family, they also all get older. And I started losing people. And I think that the real catalyst for me was about 3 years ago, I lost one of my very best friends who was a year or two older than me. And she went. And it's incredible what kind of impact that can have on your life, your thinking, and your decision making. And, all of these thoughts about life and all of that all channeled together. But I found it was this kind of big ball of negativity. I knew exactly what I didn't want anymore. I didn't want to sit in meetings all day, every day, talking about stuff that didn't interest me anymore. I didn't want to sit in my car commuting to my place of work. I didn't want to have to ask my employer for time off. This is my time. I didn't want to ask that anymore. So I knew exactly what I didn't want, but I didn't know what I did want. And what really helped me was realizing that I had to focus on that, turning this negativity into something positive that I could strive for. All of my career, I've been striving for this position, that position, this salary. It was my absolute dream to be an academic registrar many years ago, and I achieved it. Maybe part of the problem is I achieved what I was striving for, and I didn't know where to go next. But I knew now that I had to have some sort of plan, if not exactly what I was going to do, where I wanted to go to. And actually, once I started thinking about that, it became a lot easier in many ways, because what I wanted became clear. It was the opposite of what I've been doing. So I wanted freedom. I wanted geographical freedom. I want to be able to go and travel the world with my husband. That's what I wanted. I wanted financial freedom, yes. And one of the things I'd realize is if you are in employment, you will never be financially free. Never. Even though I was earning 6 figures, I was never going to be financially free. And why is that? It's because there's a limit on what you can achieve. Your salary is your salary, and yeah, it might go up in increments, you might get a review every year, but there's a ceiling on it. So I wanted financial freedom, which I wasn't ever going to get. And I also, of course, want time freedom. I want to stop selling my time to an employer. I want my time to be my time to do with what I wanted. That's what I wanted. And I guess all of these thoughts started me questioning the whole system of earning money. And I also, I boiled down my thoughts to several questions. And one of them was, why do you have to just send money from one source? Isn't that a bit of a risk? And of course you don't. But because my brain had been trained into only employment being, the thing that made you successful and that you had to strive for, I never even countenanced earning money from different sources. That was a revelation to me. And honestly, once I'd started asking myself these questions and gone through many rabbit holes on YouTube about earning income, that's when things really opened up. Skip to now, my life looks very different. I left my full-time employment last summer, and now I don't have one job. I have multiple streams of income. I choose how to spend my time. I work the hours I want to work. And maybe the biggest thing of all, I've reconnected with my creativity again. And I really feel like I'm building something that actually feels like me and feels like mine and feels like something that's really important to me. Now, I will do more videos about what exactly I'm doing, so please be sure to subscribe if you want to find out more. But let's just call it digital marketing, which covers a lot of different streams of income. And of course, my life looks very different now, especially as I'm not earning that six-figure salary. It's very, very different. But honestly, the way I feel now compared to how I felt then doesn't even compare. I'm happier now than I have been in years. Not in a loud, dramatic way, just feeling settled and something that I can't explain it, but it just feels right. And professionally, I wouldn't go back to employment if you paid me more than my six-figure salary. Not for anything. Nothing would get me back there. Now, I have got a lot more to say on all of this. I've got details about how I am earning money now, what I'm doing. But I don't want this video to be too long, and I will be coming back to this. But I have started documenting everything that I'm figuring out because I'm also desperate to help other midlifers to do the same if they want to. Because I know I'm not the only one who's felt this way. So if you're sitting there and this is resonating with you, or if you think I don't want to do this for the rest of my life, whatever it is you're doing, then obviously please do subscribe, come back for more future videos. But also, if you want to find out a little bit more about me and what I'm doing right now, I've started building lots of free resources in something called the Midlife Momentum Lab. It's completely free. You just have to sign up and you get access to modules that I put together. I'm calling it like a stepping stone to help you get to where you want to get to, based on the experience I've had, the challenges I've had, the things I've found that have worked. And as I say, detail a little bit more about what I'm actually doing. So please, I'm going to put the link in the description of this video, completely free, and so many free resources within it. I'm sure I should probably charge hundreds for it, but I'm not. I'm not. So please do consider doing that. But also, I say, do subscribe and come back for more in the future. And thank you for watching this far. I hope it's been inspiring, helpful, all that stuff. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.